Today is December 21st, 2022. We are continuing our Mesilat Yesharim. We're still in the section on Nikiyut, and we're in the middle of the paragraph, actually right here in the middle of the page of Resh Yud Gimel, and we're going to continue where we are. So here we go. The Gam HaSin'a v'haNikima kashe me'od, right? Hatred and revenge are extremely difficult. To be able to get away from these types of feelings of hatred towards someone, wanting to take revenge against someone. A person, no matter who we are, we try to be brave and to really try to, but we all have that self-esteem that when someone makes a comment to us that we're not comfortable with, it makes us feel bad, we get embarrassed. El ben otav is embarrassment. Mitzta'er is suffering. Tsar gadol. We all have this pride, this ego, and it's part of our makeup. Vehanekama lo metuka midvash. Right, to take revenge against someone who made you feel that way is sweeter than honey. Kihi menuhato levada. The only way to quell that feeling of embarrassment is revenge. Alken, therefore, he says, when he has the power, right, to stay away from what his nature is forcing him to do, v'ya'avor al midotav, right, you're going to fight your nature. You don't hate someone that caused you to hate, right? They made you feel hated. You don't hate them back. You don't take revenge, but he's damen lo in a scenario where you had the opportunity to take revenge and you don't. Right? You don't hold a grudge. You forget it all. You remove it from your heart. Like the person never did anything to you. That person is a superstar, super powerful. He's able to control his emotions. He's as light as the angels in Shamayim, that they're the ones that they don't have this feelings of haughtiness or of ga'ava, of being embarrassed, of being angry. They don't have. You become like an angel. Lo el shochne batei homer asher be'afar yesodam. Not right people that live in materialism, right? That their source is the dirt, meaning humans, right? Omnam, however, gizarat ha'melechi. Bottom line is very nice that you become all powerful if you're able to fight your emotions, but guess what? God commanded us to fight those emotions. It's gezerat hamelech. It's a decree from the king. There's many psukim, very clear, openly. I don't even need to explain the psukim to you, says the Ramchal. All I'm going to do is quote them. Lo tisna et achicha bilvavecha. You're not allowed to hate your brother in your heart. Pasuk 1. Pasuk 2. Lo tikom v'lo titor et bnei amecha. Do not lo tikom. Do not take revenge and do not hold a grudge. Tikom is revenge and titor is grudge. Et bnei amecha. Ve'inyan hanikima v'hanetira, regarding this revenge and holding a grudge. Yaduat. I'll explain them to you. Those are he's going to explain. Dehainu. Nikima, to take revenge, limana mehetiv lemishero lo ratza lehetiv lo. Right? If I hold back doing something good for someone that did someone did something bad to me. So he did something bad, and now I have an opportunity to do something good, and you know what? I'm not going to do that for him. Revenge. Nitira, what's holding a grudge? That, says the Ramchal, is laskir be'et shehu metiv. Right? In a time now where someone did something bad to me and I'm actually now doing something good to him. So I'm not taking revenge. But you know what I do? In the act of telling him that I'm doing something good, I tell him, as a zikaron min hara'asha asalo. I mentioned to him, right, what he did to me, what bad he did to me. And I'm like, you see, I'm not like you. You did bad to me, but I'm giving you good. That's holding a grudge. Now, lefisha yetzer holech Umartiach et halev, right? Your Yetzer Hara inside of you makes your blood boil when you know that you're doing something good to somebody who did something bad to you. You have that fight inside. Umevakesh tamid lahaniach lefahot eze roshem, right? The Yetzer Hara is trying to get any kind of reaction from you, or eze zikaron min hadavar, right? Some kind of mention of what was done before. Ve'im lo yuchal hashir zikaron gadol, yishtadel hashir zikaron mu'at. Right? If the Yetzer Hara can't get you to falter totally, he'll try to get you to fall somewhat. Right? Yomar derech mashal adam. He'll tell you. He's going to give you an example. Im timtze leten laish hazeh et asher lo ratzahu latet lecha kishenitzrachta. Right? This is like your Yetzer Hara talking to you in your brain, and tells him, well, if you think you're going to go and do something for this person, right, who didn't do it for you when you needed it and he didn't do it, lefachot. At least don't give it to him with a smile on your face. That's what the Yetzer Hara is going to try to do you, right? Or okay, you don't want to do something bad to him. Don't, okay, help him a little bit. Don't go over the top, right? Don't do anything too much. That's the Yetzer Hara again talking to you, right? Or let's say I want to help the guy a lot. Don't do it to his face. Or you know what? Maybe Yetzer Hara will tell you, oh, okay, you're going to help him? Go help him. Don't become his friend. Right? It's bad. It's enough that I was mochel him, and I don't want to. I forgave him, and I'm not going to be his enemy, but I don't have to be his friend. Right? That's your Yetzer again talking to you. Maybe I do want to be this guy's friend. I forgave him. Whatever he did is gone. Water under the bridge. I want to be his friend. You know, Yetzer Hara will tell you, don't show him as much love as you used to have for him. So you could show him somewhat, right? Anything similar to this idea, right? This active of your Yetzer Hara is pounding on you. He's trying to twist your heart to turn you away from doing what's right. Therefore, the Torah comes along. The kilala klal makes a general rule. Shakol nichlal bo. There's one rule that covers all these issues. Should love your fellow like yourself. Kamocha means what? Beli shumefresh, without any separation. The same way you love yourself. Kamocha beli chilukim, without any subdivisions. Right now, I don't love only my foot and not my finger. I love all of me. Right? Beli tahbulot umizimot, without any kinds of trickery, without any kind of evil intentions. Kamocha mamash, just like yourself. Ulam. Make sure we're going in the right direction. 1 second. Yeah. Correct. Okay. Ulam. However, he says, Hashivuot, regarding swears. Af al pi shemin hasetam kol she'eno min ha'edyotot nishmar mehotzi shem shamayim lepiv lebatala. Right? Regarding swears, he says, even though anybody who has a brain in their head, right, he's not a simple-minded person, he thinks a little bit, is careful to make sure that they are not going to say Shem Shamayim levatala, right? They're not going to mention God's name in vain. So kol sheken b'shivuah, and of course to swear falsely. Yesh od eza anafim ktanim. There are still some side issues with these statements. She'af al pi she'ena min hamurim yoter, even though they're not the most stringent of laws. Al kol panim ra'ui l'mi she'yotze liot naki. However, there is something that someone who wants to be considered a naki, someone who's clean, has to be careful from. Vehu masha'amru, what I'm talking about, says that Ramchal, is the following. Amar bil azar, lav shivu'ah, vehen shivu'ah. Someone who said no, that's a swear, and someone who says yes, that's a swear. What does that mean? It means you better keep your word. Hamarava, vehu da'amar, lav trezimne. Right? If you said yes, yes, or you said no, no. If you said yes, yes, that means that's it. You have to keep your word. If you said no, no, you have to keep your word. That's like a swear. Amru, hin tzedek, right? The pasuk over there that the Ramchal is referencing is talking about the different measurements Efat tzedek, hin tzedek, right? All the different measurements, and they all say in the Torah, they have to be tzedek. They have to be proper weights and measurements. And the Gemara says, well, once you tell me that the smallest possible measurement has to be tzedek, then of course the larger ones have to be properly weighted or properly sized. Because if the Torah is makpid on even a small, minute amount of discrepancy from the smallest utensil of measuring cup, right? So then for sure, the bigger the utensil, the more potential discrepancy. Of course, the Torah is going to be stringent about that. And therefore, why do we have to talk about hin tzedek? Hin is a large measurement. Why? So the Gemara answers, you know why? She'eheh lav shelcha tzedek vehen shelcha tzedek. Right? It makes a derasha on the word hin, which is a measurement, and it plays with the word and calls it hen, which means yes. So when you said yes, you better be truthful. And when you said no, you better be truthful. V'hineh, hadavar hasheker, regarding a lie, gam hu holi ra nitpashet me'od b'bnei adam. It is a sickness that is, contagious among people. Ve'ulam madregot yesh bo. There are different levels of this, of lies. Yesh b'nei adam she'umenatam mamash shakranut. There's some people that is their profession. Guys, a professional liar. Him holchim, they go bodim milibam kzavim gemurim. They go and make up from their mind total absolute lies. Leman harbot sicha ben abiriyot, to cause conversations among people. Or lehachashev ben achachamim, or that people will look at them and say, "Wow, look how smart this guy is." Yodea dvarim harbe, how much does he know? Right, and it's all sketch. The whole thing is a sketch. Guy's a scammer. Ba'alehim ne'emar to'avat Hashem siftei shakir. Right, Hashem, it's abomination to Hashem, someone whose lips are lies. Ve'amar, another pasuk, siftotechem diberu sheker, leshorchem avla tege. Your lips spoke lie, your tongue has twisted. Ukvar gazru chachamim zechronam lebracha. Our rabbis have decreed. Arba kitot enam mekabelot penei shechina. There are 4 groups of people that after 120 are not going to be granted a seat at the table with the Shekhinah. They're not allowed in. Hat mehem kat shakranim. One of the 4 is the group of people that are considered liars. Okay, so let's just look downstairs for a minute. What that means, he says, kitot is a group, right? Enam mekablot pnei Shekhinah. He says, klomar af mi shebiyadot Torah u'masim tovim. We're talking about a person that has really good deeds, right, and learned a lot of Torah. Right? He's supposed to get in. Yeah, he has a portion. Okay, he will not be allowed into the behind the curtain to see the Shekhinah. Right, which is the clear vision of the Shekhinah. He will not be allowed to see. And who are these groups? So he says, kat shakranim. First one is a group of liars. Mevu'ar b'divrei Rabbeinu, derech hakat harishona, right? Shebodim milibam kazavim gmurim. The people that make up these lies from their mind. Umurgalim b'sheker. They're used to lying tamid, right? Shehem madrega hamura b'yoter. That's the worst of all the group of the liars, is the ones that are professional liars. Hem bichlal kat hashekranim she'ena mekabel pnei hashechina. Right? They're among those of Almashi is Kira Chalkach. The next group, which he's going to mention now, Mahalifim Kitsat Ibrahim, those that, they mostly tell the truth, once in a while say something that's a little off. Enam Bichlal Kat Shakranim, those are not considered the people that are liars. She'enam Mekabel Pnei Shekhinah. You can't say that a guy who lied once in his life is never going to be allowed into the Shekhinah. Aval Mashi is Kira Chalkach Mahalifim Kitsat Ibrahim, Enam Bichlal Kat Shakranim. Omnam. Rabbeinu Yonah, however, Rabbeinu Yonah says the gam mahlif ksat divarav b'mitkaven havi b'chlal katzu. According to the Rabbeinu Yonah, yeah, even if a person once in a while is lying, it could be considered a liar. That's going to be a problem. Fine. So bottom line is we better be careful with exactly what we said. V'yesh acherim kirovim lahem b'madrega. He says there are others that are similar to this level. Afapi she'enim kamehim mamash. They're not exactly like the guys that are lying all the time. They lie occasionally when they're telling stories or when they're speaking. It's not their their job, what they do full time, of going up and making stories and showing off that they know things when it's not true. However, when they come to tell something, they mix into their statement lies as they see fit. And they got used to it until it became, right, it sat with them like it became second nature to them. They are considered those that are lying. Right? You can't believe anything they say anymore. And Maran Sanhedrin says, the following is the punishment of a liar, right? Okay, even if you tell the truth, they don't believe you anymore. That's like the story of the boy who cried wolf. That's what happens. They got so used to that what comes out of their mouth is a lie. Pasuk from Yirmiyah that says, they taught their tongues to speak in lies, and the truth is gone. V'yesh od achirim, there's a third group now. Sheholyam kal miholi harishonim. This one is a little bit not as bad as the other two. V'hem otam she'enam kivuim kol kach b'sheker. It's those that don't tell lies that often. Ela shelo yahushu litrachek mimenu. But they don't make sure to stay away from a lie. It's not part of their nature, but if it came out, it came out. They're not being extra careful about what they say. If it came out, they'll say it. Many times, maybe they'll say it as a joke, without evil intentions. Meaning that's Shlomo HaMelech. The Chacham is referred to Shlomo, and saying that this of letting the lie out and saying it when it presents, the opportunity presents itself, is opposite of what Hashem wants. Hu ma shekatav, pasuk from Mishle, devar sheker yisna saddik. Right, a lie the saddik cannot stand. He hates that. Hu ma sheba alav azhara, pasuk from the Torah that says there's a warning against it. Midevar sheker tirhak. We must stay far away from a lie. Notice that the Torah didn't say watch, right? From watch not to lie. It didn't say that. Tishamer, watch over, right? It said stay far away. Rahok. Right? To tell us that we have to stay really far. You have to run away from the lie. Pasuk from Sefanya, She'erit Yisrael, Lo ya'asu avla, the leftovers of Am Yisrael, the remnants of Am Yisrael will not do improper things. V'lo yidabberu chazav, they will not be liars. V'lo yimaseh befihem lashon tarmit. You will not find, right, among them in their language, in their speech, rammaut, trickeries, tarmit. The Chachamim, Amru, the rabbis tell us, Chotamo shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu emet. Hashem, when he signs his gezerot in the Shamayim and he signs anything, his signature is emet. That's what he signs. It says, the one talks about a story about one time that the rabbis, I forgot exactly the details. What they said that from Shamayim came down a letter, came down a klaf, and on it was written emet. That's where they came to this idea that Hashem was agreeing to what they were saying, and he signed it with emet. And therefore they say that Hashem's signature is emet. Okay, right? If Hashem is what Hashem chose, right? The truth, that's what he wants. To take it to be his signature. How much the person who does the opposite of emet would be disgusted in front of Hashem. There's many warnings about being truthful. Daberu ish et re'ehu, right? Speak to each other, right? Ve'huchan b'chesed, pasuk from Yeshaya, huchan b'chesed kiseh v'yashav alav be'emet. Hashem prepared, right, the chair of chesed, and he sat on it, emet. Okay? Vayomer ach ami hema banim lo yishakeru. My nation, my boy, my children do not lie. Halamata sheshet taloi bezeh. You hear from this pasuk that being part of Hashem's nation is tied to not lying. Ve'amar nikre'a Yerushalayim ir ha'emet. Pasuk Zechariah says that the name of the city of Yerushalayim, right, is the city of truth. Lagdil hashivuta, to show how important the truth is, just like Yerushalayim is so important. Uchvar amru zichronam levracha tover emet bilvavo kigon raz safra. Over there, there's a Gemara in, I think it's Shabbat, Berachot, I think, actually. Let's see. I think it was Berachot. Rav Safra was in the middle of Kiryat Shema. It's in Berachot. He was in the middle of Kiryat Shema. Rav Safra was a merchant. And a guy comes to buy something from him. And the guy throws out a price. And Rav Safra doesn't answer him because he's in the middle of Kiryat Shema. So the person thought that Rav Safra just ignored him because he didn't like the price. So he upped the price. And still Rav Safra is not answering because in the middle of Kiryat Shema. So the guy thought again, he upped the price a third time. And finally Rav Safra finished answering Kiryat Shema, and he told him, listen, I didn't answer you because I was in the middle of Kiryat Shema, I couldn't speak. But in my mind, I was willing already from the first price that you threw at me, and therefore I'm going to sell it to you at the price that you first mentioned. Okay, and therefore it's dover emet bilvavo, the one who speaks the truth in his heart. So even though he could have gotten a lot more money, he sold it at the original price because in his mind he accepted the price already when he heard it the first time. And therefore, dover emet bilvavo kigon Rav Safra. That's what it means over here. That a person is being so truthful even with himself, right? Lo diacha kocho ad hechan chovat haemet magat, to teach you how far the requirement to be truthful goes. Ukvar av asru letalmid chacham leshanot bediburo, right? A person who is considered a scholar, right, Talmid Chacham, is not allowed to change his speech, which means he's not allowed to lie, chutz mishlosha devarim, except for in 3 scenarios. Okay, ve'achad mehem. Let's see what those 3 are, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Chutz mishlo Elohim. Here, these are them. B'masechta, right? When they ask you, are you learning so and so masechet? If you've learned it already, and they want to ask you a question, you're allowed to say no. Okay, because you don't want to appear to appear haughty. Bepuria, did you have relations with your wife? You don't have to answer that. Midat tzniut. And the third one is ushpiza, right? Where how is the host that you stayed at? So you're allowed to lie because if you say it's good, then everyone's going to have to want to go to stay by that guy's house, and is going to be bombarded, and it's not fair to him. So those are the 3 things that a Talmid Chacham is allowed to lie about. Everything else got to tell the truth. One of the 3 pillars, right, that the world stands on is truth. Okay. Therefore, right, if you tell me that one of the foundations of the world is truth, then someone who's taking away the truth, who's lying, is removing the foundation of the world. Someone who's keeping the truth is as if he's actually supporting the world with its foundation. The rabbis told us, they tell us the story, Gemara in Masechet Sanhedrin says there was a town that was called Kushta. That was the name of the city. The city, the word Kushta in Aramaic means truth, right? We say it by Berich Shemeh, right? Or I take keshot and the ohi keshot, right? Or mizgel me'evad tavevan ukshot. What is a keshot? Truth. The Torah is true. The Nevi'im are true, right? And Hashem is always going to do things that are truthful. That's what keshot means. So there's a town called Kushta, and the Gemara says in this town, it says the Malach HaMavet was not allowed any entrance. Everybody who lived in Kushta lived forever. They did not die. Okay. And then one time somebody told a lie, and 2 of his children died, and all the townspeople came to this person, asked him what happened. He told them the story. I think that Ramchal is going to bring it. We'll double check now. If it does not, I'll tell it to you. And they told him you have to leave, and they threw him out of the town. Because the minute that the lies were allowed in the city, the Malach HaMavet was given permission to enter. And so he says, "Me'oto makom shayu zehirim be'emet." Right? They were careful by telling truth. Shelo haya Malach HaMavet sholet sham, ulefi sheishto shel lebi peloni shinta b'dvareha, af al pi shaya lechavana letova, gerta bahem Malach HaMavet ad shegershuha misham ba'avur zeh v'chazru l'shalvatam. ואין צריך להאריך בדבר זה שהשכל מחייבו והדעת מכריחו. So he doesn't bring the story. What happened was that one of the neighbors came to knock on the door, and the wife was like cleaning her hair or something, and the husband didn't want to say because it was aib. She was like pulling out the lice from her hair or something, and the husband said she's not home. And because of that, the kids died. They found out, and this and that, and that's the story over there. And they threw them out of the city. And then again, they went back to that Malach HaMavet was not allowed entrance into that city anymore. And the Ramchal says, I don't need to, elaborate any further than this. These are all self-explanatory, this situation. Okay. Anfeh Chilul Hashem. Okay. Regarding the branches of what's called, just desecrating the name of Hashem. Gam ken hem rabim ugdolim. There are many, many different branches. Ki harbe tzarich adam liot has al kavod kono. A person has to be extremely careful, to be mindful of the kavod of Shamayim, right? The honor that's due to heaven. Ubechol ma she'aseh, everything that he does, tzarich she'yistakel v'yitbonen. He has to stop, to look, to think me'od, very careful. Shelo yitzeh misham ma sheyuchal liot chilul kavod Shamayim has v'halila. You need to make sure that what's going to happen is not going to be considered a chilul Hashem. Ukvar shaninu, echad shogeg ve'echad mezid bechilul Hashem. Right? Masechet Avot says it really doesn't make a difference if you did it by accident or you did it on purpose. At the end of the day, there was chilul Hashem, and therefore you need to be super careful. Ve'amru zichronam levracha hechidami chilul Hashem. Give me an example of chilul Hashem. Amarav kegon ana deshakilna bisra ve'lo yahivna demela altar. Rav says, someone like me who goes to the butcher, takes meat, and doesn't pay on the spot. That's chilul Hashem. Because the people that say, oh, the rabbi doesn't pay. Rabbi Yochanan says, someone like me who walks 4 amot without his tefillin on, without talking the Torah, that would be chilul Hashem. Of course, these are not levels that we can aspire to. Right? We could maybe to aspire to them, but I don't think we can achieve them. That Hashem will be able to get there. But the idea is that every person on their own level would have what potentially could be a chilul Hashem based on the level they're on. The way that people look at you, so then you better make sure you're living up to that, to that image of yourself, because if you're not, that's chilul Hashem, especially if it's someone that the Kal is respecting, and they think that person is a righteous person, so then you really have issues with chilul Hashem if you're not living up to the proper behavior. Tzarich she'itbonen levilti asot tavar bilti hagun leish kemoto. You better make sure you're not doing something, right, that is not worthy of a person of your stature. Kefire bot chashivuto v'chochmato, the amount of his importance, the amount of his knowledge. Ken ra'ui sheyirbe zehirato, that he has to be that much more careful. B'divrei ha'avoda v'diktuko ba, when he's dealing with people doing work, how extra careful he needs to be. V'im enenu osekach, right? Doesn't do this. Hare shem shamayim mithaleh bo has v'chalila. It's going to cause chilul Hashem. Ki kevod haTorah hu shemi shemar'eh halimud ba yarbe kimochen b'yosher u'b'tikun hamidot. Right, a person who's learning a lot of Torah, that should be straightening out all his, his midot for him, right? His character traits, and be more honest. If he's missing certain things, and he doesn't follow through, and he's only learning to learn and not learning to do, so gorem bizayon limud atzmo, he's causing, an embarrassment to learning itself. Vezeh has v'halila. Right? Hilul shlomo lishmo yitbarach. It's a total chilul Hashem. Shenatan lanu et Torato hakedusha v'tzivanu la'asok ba lahasig al yada shlemutenu. The Torah was given to us not to just be a study book. It's not an encyclopedia to look up laws and then not live by it. It's a book that we use, the halachot, to live in order for us to reach our full potential. Therefore, a person who's learning and learning and learning and doesn't follow through with his learning, so that causes chilul Hashem, because people look at that guy and says, wow, that guy's very learned. Wow, look how much he knows. And then they see him do things that are improper. And then, it's all for nothing, right? The tree is causing chilul Hashem. And this guy, it's a mental exercise, and it's totally better. Someone like that, almost better to say not to learn. Okay. Gam Shvinat HaShabbatot v'Yamim Tovim, keeping the holidays. Rabbi, right? Ki HaMishpatim Rabim, regarding keeping all the holidays, regarding Shabbatot. Ken Amru Hilcheta Rabba L'Shabbeta. Many halachot regarding Shabbat. V'afilu Divrei HaShevut, even the rabbinical ones. Afal Pi Shemidivrei Chachamim Hem, even though they're rabbinical. Ikarim Hem, they are just as important. V'chen Amru Le'olam Al Tehi Shevut Kala Be'enecha. Should never say that it's only to rabbinical law, it's not important. Why? Sharei Semicha Shevuti, right? Regarding leaning on the animal before you give it as a korban, right? You have to lean all your weight on this animal. So that's a rabbinical law. There was a big mahloket about it, okay? Between Hillel and Shammai, that's actually the first mahloket ever recorded. Is do we do smicha on Yom Tov between Hillel and Shammai, Hillel Zaken. Ulam. פרטי הדינים למחלוקתם מבוארים הם אצל הפוסקים בספריהם, right? The difference of the mahlokets, right? Of different laws among the rabbis that are being posek halacha is written in their books. וכולם שווים לחובתנו בם לזהות המצטרך, and we have to be careful with all of them. ומה שקשה על ההמון, that which is difficult, שמירתו, the hardest part for Shabbat is to stop business transactions, right? To stop speaking about business. Right? That even though it's written in a pasuk in Yeshaya, Me'asot derachecha mimeso hefsecha vedaber davar. Right, you should respect the Shabbat from doing your derachecha, what you normally do. Mimeso hefsecha, from finding your objects. Vedaber davar, speaking in what you normally speak of divrei chol. Haklal hu shekol ma she'asur b'Shabbat la'asoto asur l'ishtadel ba'avoro o lahazkiro b'fiv. The general rule is anything that you're not allowed to do on Shabbat, so you're not allowed to do things that would cause that to happen. Right, even if it's not a milacha, or even to speak about it. Therefore, the rabbis made it asur to look at your assets and see, oh, what do I need to do for tomorrow? Can't do that on Shabbat. Or to go to the edge of the town, so you can leave right away after Shabbat, right, to go to the bathhouse. You're not supposed to say, oh, I'll do this tomorrow when it's tomorrow Sunday. Or I'm going to buy so-and-so tomorrow. We need to be careful with our speech, and we will stop here until next week. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.